Okay, Catherine, so I'm just going to record this all for Catherine, so feel free to jump in and change anything. Okay, so the first experiment is actually, there's some debate over whether to do a aversive CPP or a positive CPP and then add an aversive substance. So in one situation, what we do is we have two tanks, we train the fish to like one side, and then we give them an aversive thing when they try to go there. In the second situation, we kind of set up a T-maze so the fish is dropped in the top and then goes into one side. Every time it goes into one side, we zap it. So that's the primary question. Then there's two versions of this aversive learning paradigm. In one of the aversive learning paradigms, we drop the fish in, and then it chooses to go to one side, then we zap it. In the other kind of situation, what we do is drop it in to one side, force it in that side, and then zap it. The advantage to this one is that it's the fish choosing. The problem is that we would be zapping the fish an even number of times. For example, a fish that went into the blue side 3 times would get zapped 3 times, where a fish that only went in 2 would get zapped twice. Here, the fish is forced into either side, so we would zap each fish, for example, 10 times on the aversive side. Once we've developed that aversive while we're developing that aversive learning, actually, before we administer drug, let that get to the brain, then we have a rinse tank. So we have to rinse off the drug, make sure that none of the drug goes into the chamber, the testing chamber, and then we train the fish. And then on the final day of our experiment, we see which tank the fish goes into. We'll have to make sure that we aversely train some to the blue dot pleasure chamber and some to the clear pleasure chamber. Anybody want to add?
Some things we have to consider. I think definitely the number of shocks that we're administering is important. But also, if the fish are going to get shocked, will they secrete that hormone that we were thinking about using, that alarm substance?
They very well could.
Oh, that's very good. Did you think of that on your own?
Yeah.
With your brain?
Yeah.
All the
Myelin sheath for days.
Still working.
All right.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Ideally, you would have to change. This is why I don't like working with aquatic animals. So ideally, you would have to change the water every time for every fish, every trial.
Or could we train?
Because you don't know what the fish is excreting. I didn't think about that.
Right.
Move the camera from my.
Oh, sorry. So we can't just stick a whole bunch of them in the blue side and then zap them all, or.
It could be like double.
So what I'm saying is,